Hey friends, welcome back to Blockchainify. Today I want to address the situation where you are stuck with some coins you don't want to hold and what you could do instead of just selling at a loss. Of course, this is not financial advice, just my own opinion and what I personally do when I find myself in these situations. Like right now, because I still have some coins that I want to get out from, but at the same time, I do not want to sell at a loss. Let's dive in. There are people calling this red bags that you don't want to have or hold, right? Okay, so most of us have definitely sold at a loss at some point. And actually, I think this is what the majority of people in crypto, the new people in crypto, are doing. They are selling at a loss because they are afraid to not lose their entire money, right? But they do that after they lost 50%, 70%, 80% or something like that, right? And that's where the smart money are coming in and are collecting this money from the weak hands, how someone might call them. And after that, pushing the market up and taking profits. Now, if we remove that situation where people are just selling emotionally because they don't want to lose all their money, then there are also other angles you can look at this situation. And the first thing coming to my mind is the opportunity cost of being stuck in a deal like that, because during this period, you cannot put your money to work and to make more money. So there is a cost in that. So this could be a pro to sell at a loss. But now comes the tricky part. What makes you think that that opportunity you want to jump on is not another future to be red bag? How did you end up in this situation in the first place? Did you have a plan, or it was something you just were influenced and hyped into this and you ended up owning a coin that proved to not be a great project maybe? So this is the main question here. How can you know for sure that this won't become another red bag and you will shrink even more the money you have already, right? Because that's most probably what is going to happen if you don't have a plan and if you don't have experience, right? You always need to have a plan. Not having a plan is the worst thing that can happen in crypto. And I'm telling you from the perspective of someone experiencing right that, because even today, I do not have a very, very detailed plan. It's very vague, still very vague, but I promise you, I'm working very hard to make it very clear and very detailed and stick to it. And I strongly believe that this is the most important thing. And of course, this will save you from bankruptcy because you get the emotion out of the equation and you are following your plan, right? You are not following your impulses, right? Like I said, there might be some situations where it might make sense, but you need to be very sure about that. And you need to have some metrics that will point that that is definitely a good move. I said already, I think previously on this channel, but for example, in my case, I did sell at a loss sometimes, but I did not do it because I wanted to jump in another project. I did it just from a pure management perspective because it was too difficult to follow all this position and it was much easier to consolidate in fewer coins, right? So let's say, for example, I had 20 coins that are all of them down between 70 and 80% at this time, right? So then I would rather sell 10 of them and split the amount and buy the other 10. And after that, it's going to be easier to manage these positions if I want to do something with them. If I just want to hold them long term, that's another option. You can, of course, keep them and just set some sell limit orders when they will reach the price you want to target. I did that before. So I set some limit orders for prices that will be much higher than we are currently. But of course, we are still in a downtrend or in a shaky market at least, and it will take a lot of time to get and reach those targets, right? At the end of the day, I don't know if this is the best. I did it just from pure commodity because it was easier for me to just follow these coins, follow these projects and see, I can try to trade some amount of that coin. But if I have 20 or more, it's very difficult. But these are just numbers that you might be comfortable with, right? There are people that over 10 coins, it's already too much. There are people that can have much more than that, right? So it depends on how much time you have and so on, right? So because this can also, maybe it's a bad decision. I'm not really sure it's good, right? Because at the same time, you can have from the projects you just sold, ones that will pop and make crazy gains over the ones that you bought when you sold them, right? So there is a downside to that as well. But like I said, I think there is no perfect option here. It's what fits best to your plans, to what you want to do. And since I'm mostly focusing on trading, so for me, it's easier to manage less positions or less coins, right? Instead of having too many of them and feeling overwhelmed. Yeah. And there are definitely other situations as well. Now, apart from taking the loss and cutting a position, are there any other things we could do with this money we are stuck in, or we just need to wait until we get to the previous price level to break even, or maybe to take some profit? The first thing that comes into my mind, it's temporary DCA or dollar cost average. But it's very important to know that for this, you will need extra funds because you want to buy cheaper and to lower your average entry price. And that will have the consequence that you can exit earlier from these deals because the break even is going to be much lower than previously, right? So that could be something, but this can also be a sword with two edges because of course it might be a bad project and it might still go 50% or 90% from there down, right? And then you'll stack in more money. So to be honest, this approach, I do not really recommend it to anyone that doesn't have a good grasp of TA and can make a very good breakdown of this DCA plan to get as quick as possible from these deals. So I definitely don't recommend this for anyone out there or for beginners especially, of course. Because the last thing you want is to lock in even more liquidity, which will translate to even higher opportunity cost, right? Another possibility is yield farming and or staking. But this poses different risks than the temporary DCA. And let's see what is important to have in mind when you are considering this strategy. First and foremost, it will require you some time to find some trustful platforms you can stake or yield farm with your assets. And it will take some time to research, right? Then you need to take in consideration that there are smart contract risks if you do it on DeFi platforms, right? There are hacks that might occur. I experienced first-hand hacks, for example, on Grim Reaper, on the Phantom network. And even more dangerous than that, there are so many rug pulls out there. So it's very, very important to make due diligence and to be as sure as you can be that you spread your risk and you don't get rug pulled. But I've seen so many rug pulls and I experienced so many rug pulls so far, and this is a very delicate area. On top of that, something important is that you will need some time to learn how the platforms are working, to understand exactly what you are doing before doing that. And of course, if you are going this way, please do it with a small amount of money in the beginning and just after that, deploy more. Do not go straight ahead with all your assets because you can run into some serious trouble that might have a huge impact on you. So keep this in mind. At the same time, if we are talking about small amounts of money, it might not even worth to pay the gas fees and the hassle to move the money around. So this is not ideal. It's definitely a situation that might fit to some people that are interested in this kind of approach or as a part of your strategy. But it is out there and it's something you could do because as you have your coins dropping down in their value, at least they generate some income that you can at least maybe buy more of that coin to reduce and lower the entry price, or you can actually buy some blue chips projects like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other ones if you trust them, or stablecoin that you can deploy later on. Now, another option that comes to my mind, it's grid bots. You might ask yourself, what are the grid bots? And I will try to not go too deep into this, just keep it very simple and say that these are some bots that can do arbitrage for you. So you can set some parameters with some specific targets. You set an upper limit, a lower limit, and how many grids or how many lines do you want to have. And these bots are selling when price reaches a higher price. And after that, when the price goes down, they buy and they take advantage of this volatility. But these bots are very good, especially in sideways markets. They are not very good in very bullish trends because then you just earn more money just holding the tokens. And also if they go down, then you get stuck with these deals, right? So the best conditions for these bots is when the market goes sideways, uncertain markets. Like right now is actually not a very bad time because you don't know what Bitcoin is going to do. It's going upwards, the next week is going downwards, and we don't know. It's going to break to 29K or is going to 50K. We don't really know what's happening. So these times actually are quite good for the grid bots. But it's not actually that why I think they are a good idea. The most important thing that I'm thinking about grid bots is because you can use the amount of coins you have without bringing in more money. So this is a crucial fact to this. I would not add in more money. I would just use the amount of coins I have. I would look at the chart and decide what is the lower and upper limit. but I will always have the lower limit above the current price. So I do not need to invest more money in that coin. So this is very, very important here, because it's something to start using a grid bot with stable coin from scratch with zero other coin. And it's something completely different in this case with this approach, because I'm talking about this specifically approach to use them just for your red bags to generate some profits. And in this way, I keep this grid bot running until the profit generated by it plus the amount of coin I have at that point come to break even. And at that point, you can sell everything and you are break even and you can forget about that coin. This is the approach I'm talking about in this case. Why I am even thinking about this strategy is because actually if you are using some of the most popular exchanges out there, they have their own bot services, of course, but they are not the best out there, of course. They don't come even close to some other ones that I will talk very soon about, but they are enough and they are free if you want to use it. And in this case, I'm talking about KuCoin and Binance because they have their own free grid bots. And right now I am testing a lot the KuCoin bots. So in the future, I'll let you know how this is going. There are also some platforms that are exclusively for running bots, like Pionex, if you heard about it. So there you can deposit some USDT, some stablecoin, and you can start many different bots with different approaches to run and make some passive income for you. They are built especially for bots. Now, the best approach in this situation are, of course, third-party softwares or platforms. And of course, who else than 3 Commas? Actually, 3 Commas has the most solid grid bot out there, to be honest. I really tested this bot. I still have it running and I really like it. It's very good, very intuitive, very nice parameters, and it works pretty well. The downside with this is that it's quite expensive, but that depends on how much money you are playing with. If you are playing with a few $100, then it's definitely not worth it because you have unlimited number of grid bots only in the most expensive plan, which I think is around $100 or $50 if you pay for 1 year. So yes, it is what it is, but you have many platforms available that you can connect to. You can connect to many exchanges that they don't have their own grid bots like FTX or Bittrex or other ones. And definitely the user experience and the customer experience is the best because this platform is built for this. So yeah, the good part about 3 Commas is they also have DCA bots, and that's very cool. And that's something that I'm using, and I will keep it always as some part of my strategy for generating passive income with my crypto. Now, like I said already, it's very important to remember that this approach might not be very good if you expect that the market will go up immediately. Like, you know, for some reason, or you have some reasons to believe that the market is going to explode soon, because then you will sell your coins at a lower price than you want to. But this approach right here is quite complex and very difficult to explain with just images. So I will most definitely make some tutorials about how you can actually use it, my approach, how exactly I do it, and if they are useful at all or not. If you think that would be interesting for you as well to see, please leave me a comment and tell me, because this way I'll be more motivated to do it sooner rather than later. The good part with these bots is that is actually the easiest of all these strategies to use and the least risky if they are used right. And the first reason why that is because you don't need to add more funds for them to run if you use this approach. Now, what you need to take care of is that you will not sell at a loss, right? So you will not sell before the price reaches your average entry price. And I think I will go much deeper into that when I will do that specific video about grid bots. Now it's time for you to tell me what you think about this. What did I miss? What other options are out there? And what you think about my arguments regarding all these options? Am I crazy about this, or did you use any of these strategies in the past successfully? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. With that being said, thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.